Hello you beautiful creatures, how the devil are you? I hope you're okay. If you're new here, my name's Lou, or as my friends like to call me, Lucifer. And by my friends I mean my Instagram account. Guys, WandaVision episode 3, what a game changer. My god, it led me into a false sense of security like I knew it would, but everything absolutely changed in episode 3. The vibe was so different but so cute at the same time. I don't know what you'd call that. Woot? Weird and cute? Woot? We'll make that a thing. We'll call it woot. So, WandaVision episode 3 introduces the idea... Oh! Before we go any further, from now on my WandaVision videos are going to be spoiler filled. I'm so sorry about that, guys, but the thing is, like I said in the last video, if I continue doing non-spoiler videos, I'd just be talking about the same themes over and over and over again. It also helps me with context, so if you have watched it and you're kind of new to the whole comic book MCU, I can kind of help you with the things that you didn't really understand, because I'm also trying to research that whole thing at the same time, and hopefully we can learn something new together. So that's where we're at. Okay, so as we continue, Wanda is pregnant. Yes, she is pregnant, and it is at a very fast rate. It is a very fast pregnancy. Honestly, watching that episode was like playing The Sims. 1 minute you've got a pregnant sim and then they're ready to give birth and you haven't even finished the nursery. So that's the kind of anxiety I felt watching that episode. However, we have got so many things to unpack in this episode. Yeah, let's just start with the whole pregnancy thing. Yes, Wanda and Vision are pregnant, which is weird because Vision can't do that. So Wanda essentially manifests this pregnancy. Now, what's so interesting and what's really exciting about this pregnancy is they mention the names of the babies. So they mention the names they want to do. The names of Wanda and Vision's babies are Tommy and Billy, who, if you know, in Young Avengers, Billy becomes Wiccan and Tommy becomes Speed. So Speed is a lot like Pietro, Speed is a lot like Quicksilver in the fact that he is very, very quick, which I think is interesting because in the episode when Vision is trying to get to the doctor and trying to get him all the way back, I'm sorry about that bingo wing action, very sorry about that, he is using super speed. So it's nice to see that it's not just from the whole Quicksilver kind of thing, it's from Vision as well. So that's Vision's quality in one of the children, whereas Billy is Wiccan, so he follows a lot more in his mother's stride. It's also really exciting as well just because Wiccan is gay, so he will be more of a gay icon, which is really exciting if they do carry on with the whole Young Avengers thing, which I really think they can, because they've already introduced the idea of Kate Bishop being involved. Oh, it's so exciting, I can't wait. But the point is, we know that the kids are Billy and Tommy. Now, in the comic books, Wanda uses essence from a person called Mephisto. Now, Mephisto is basically the comic version of the devil, and what happens in the comic is she uses the essence from Mephisto to manifest her 2 children. Now, we have no idea how she's doing this in the TV series. We don't know if it's from her own kind of initiative or if there is a higher power involved. A lot of people are saying that either Mephisto, Agnes or Agatha, yes, Agatha Harkness, who we'll get onto that shortly, AIM, Hydra, we don't know who's basically made this whole mess. Obviously we know that Wanda is the one behind it. I keep zoning in on this one aspect in the trailer where Wanda has got the Mind Stone and she's warping it. Now, I had this conversation with Gareth, and he basically said, well, how can she have the Mind Stone? Because Steve, if you remember in the last Marvel movie, Avengers movie, he returned all the stones to their respective places. Now, we don't know how she could have gotten the Mind Stone back, so that's a whole different thing, and I'm aware that I'm doing Wanda's warpy thingy. Exciting. But my point is, in the comics, Mephisto is the one that helps Wanda to make these children, and then he kind of absorbs their essence back into himself, but somehow Billy and Tommy come back anyway, and they join the Young Avengers. That's a different ball game. So the big question is, who's having this massive impact on Wanda? Who's really behind this whole thing? And that's why I'm moving on to Agnes. So her neighbour, Agnes, it has been speculated that Agnes is Agatha Harkness. Now, she was Wanda's mentor in the comic series, and when everything kind of happens with Mephisto reabsorbing the souls of her children, Scarlet Witch reanimates Agatha to help her to kind of forget that whole thing. So Agatha does play a massive role in the whole Scarlet Witch series. So we don't know if it's Agatha, if it's Mephisto, if it's AIM, if it's Hydra, or some other entity that's basically helping to create this whole world. So we kind of just have to look out for that. A lot of people have been saying that if you look at the advert, that the male might be Mephisto, because he's essentially bringing in all these ideas of forgetting about what's out there and just kind of, you know, come into this bubble, everything's safe. And, you know, the longer you stay in this bubble, the longer you can have vision and you can have your children. That's a whole thing. A lot of other people have been saying that the male and female in the adverts are Wanda's parents, which I'm not sure about either, because, as we know, Wanda is Magneto's kid. I'm right, aren't I? I'm pretty sure I'm right. Anyway, so that's another idea that's floating around. But we also notice that when Vision is outside and he is talking to Agnes and his other neighbour kind of starts to say something's not right. And this is where we bring in the idea of Monica. Now, Monica, in the last couple of episodes, she's actually forgotten her name and she's had no idea what's going on. And then when she goes to visit Wanda and help her with delivering the babies, suddenly Monica begins to say things that aren't necessarily kosher with Wanda's idea of the perfect life. She does bring up Pietro being killed by Ultron, and she shouldn't know that because she is in Wanda's world. And Wanda kind of clocks on and she starts singing a lullaby to the babies in her native tongue. So she is kind of starting to really clock on, although I do think she knows full well what's happening. I really do. And poor Vision, whoever this Vision is, honestly doesn't have a clue. He starts getting ideas from his neighbours. He starts getting ideas from the doctor as well. So the doctor that helps with Wanda's pregnancy, he has a very interesting thing about going to the Bermuda Triangle, which again I think is really interesting. But then he says, oh, I might not do that because you can't really escape, can you? I'm sorry, what? That's some really, really deep stuff. So obviously the doctor and the neighbours are giving subliminal messages to Vision that something is not quite right. And I found it interesting how people have been saying that all the characters in the neighbourhood, they actually live in that neighbourhood, and Wanda has taken over the whole area. So towards the end, when Monica does start saying all this kind of stuff, Wanda doesn't like that and she wants to get rid of her. And I also think that's what Agnes wants as well. So when Agnes and the neighbour are talking to Vision, they're basically telling him that she doesn't have a home. She just popped up out of nowhere, which is highly suspect. She doesn't have a husband or anything, so they're not happy about her being there. She's obviously an intruder. She's not a character in Wanda's narrative. So that's why they're really edgy, and I honestly think Agnes knows more than she's letting on. Also, the fact that if you watch the trailer again, you will notice that in the episode where they all dress up for Halloween, Agnes is wearing a witch's hat. So that really does connect with the fact that she has something to do with witchcraft, or she is Agatha Harkness. But we have yet to see. Anyway, so towards the end, we see that Wanda is not happy with Monica. She wants her gone. She completely expels her from the world that she's created, and she ends up outside this dome where the town that Wanda's created actually is. It's a real town and it's surrounded by a dome, so part of the town is encased in that dome, which means that all the people who originally lived there are now a part of Wanda's narrative, and they have to play out what she wants, or they're too terrified of her to basically go against it, or Agnes has said something and they're kind of under her thumb as well. And then we see the camera, it actually grows and it basically turns into the camera dimensions that we're used to with the MCU. And my dad said something really important. He said it now feels like it's in the MCU. So before all of that, in episodes 1, episodes 2, and most of episode 3, it seemed like a completely different TV show, and it wasn't a Marvel thing. But now it really does. Now we can see the base that S.W.O.R.D. has created outside of the bubble, and Monica basically gets yeeted outside of this bubble, and you do see her crackling with energy, and it is said that she does become an Avenger, so we'll have to see what happens with that. So basically, what do I think is going to happen in the next couple of episodes? Well, like Gareth said, I honestly don't think that this can be a long-running thing. I really think it's taking from House of M, it's taking from all of the comic arcs that Wanda and Vision are a part of, and it just kind of feels like this whole idea of the perfect world is really crumbling around Wanda. I don't know about you guys, but at the end of that episode where she was just staring into the camera and saying, "Oh, everything's fine," that really, really disturbed me, and I could kind of see hints of a villain coming out. So I'm not too sure. I think she's slowly going from that naivety to becoming an individual that will stop at nothing to basically make the world that she wants. She wants to protect the idea that she has these beautiful children and she has Vision, and she will stop at nothing for that to be a thing. And that's why I think it will take Stephen Strange to come in and basically set the record straight and say, this isn't right. We know that S.W.O.R.D. has been desperately trying to get into Wanda's world. So the helicopter was from S.W.O.R.D. I know that I said it was Iron Man colours, but I'm sticking by it. That was Iron Man colours. So we saw the helicopter. My theory is that the helicopter was obviously full-sized when it was heading towards the dome, but when it got inside the dome, it changed into that little toy because it's less threatening to Wanda, and it's still a massive, like, you know, the idea, oh my god, something's coming in, but it's just a toy, so it's not as bad as a big helicopter. And then we had the guy in the beekeeper's suit as well. He had the S.W.O.R.D. logo on his back, so we also know that S.W.O.R.D. is trying to get into that way. I don't know if he went in as a beekeeper or he was changed into a beekeeper. I don't know, but a lot of people are also speculating that AIM is behind it as well, because their outfits are very, very similar. So I don't know, we'll have to see about that one. But I honestly think it's going to be a case that Vision? No, that's not right. That Stephen Strange is going to come in. He's going to be the only one powerful enough to get through to Wanda and get into her world. Also, if you notice in the trailer, there is a moment where a shadowy figure is coming through the dome and the silhouette looks like the individual's wearing a cape. So maybe watch the trailer again, see what you think. But I think Doctor Strange is going to come in and say, this isn't right, everything you've done is wrong. Either that or Mephisto's going to get involved, so we'll have to see who gets there first. And then obviously the world is going to crumble, and yeah, I think you're looking at your new MCU villain. I really do. I think she'll either be a villain in... No, I think she will be a villain in Multiverse of Madness. I really think she will be a villain in Multiverse of Madness. But again, we will have to see. It's exciting to see Monica again. Obviously, she was little in Captain Marvel, so it's nice to see that she's grown up. She's kind of stepped into her mum's shoes. She is now a part of S.W.O.R.D. and she's getting involved with that, so it'll be nice to see where her character develops from that. It was nice to see a familiar face, but now we know that Wanda's world is under attack more now than ever, so we will just have to see what happens in the next episodes. I am so excited, you cannot believe. I think we'll learn more about Agatha Harkness, from wearing the witch's hat. I think, you know, it's a clear giveaway that she's more involved than she says she is. I personally think, yeah, she knows what's going on, so I think she's definitely a character to keep an eye out for. And on that note, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I know I've probably said the same things that everybody else has said, but this is kind of a video to help people who aren't necessarily keyed up in the comic book universe, and they can kind of get an idea of what to expect in the next couple of episodes. It can be a little bit easier to follow. If this helps you out, please let me know. I'd really appreciate that. I still feel really dirty saying this because I did a movie review on Spree, if you know what that is, and it's about an up-and-coming YouTuber, and I'm still really freaked out about saying please like and subscribe if you really enjoyed this video. Oh, it's so hard. And if you want to see more unboxings, if you want to see more Marvel, if you want to see more horror movies, any of those kind of reviews, if you want to see all the spooky stuff as well, I do stories, I do basically anything spooky related. I do a lot of shop reviews as well, so small businesses. If that's what you're interested in, I vibe that, so I hope I can help you to vibe that. I hope you've had a wonderful day. If not, that's okay. Always remember, tomorrow's a new day. See you later, guys. Bye.